Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Yusril, the Gamer's World of Tanks, and welcome once again to Lunchtime Tankery. This is going to be a quickie. This is an old replay I've got from a few weeks back. Been meaning to do it for a while, but never quite had the time. It's the first mastery tanker, the first ace tanker that I ever picked up in World of Tanks. For those of you wondering whether or not I might be about to acquire actual competence, nope. You'll be pleased, possibly, to hear that normal service resumed itself very, very shortly after this video. Anyhow, let's get into battle. Vehicle, of course, is the Panzer IV-H with the 105mm howitzer. Gun itself, high explosive, 53mm penetration, 410 damage, and I've got a few heat rounds with the enhanced penetration as backup. Not that I actually use them in this fight. I don't run into anything that the High-X can't deal with. Round the corners, getting straight into the city because, hey, 105mm gun does not do long-range fights very well. The 75 L44 and L48 guns you get on the Panzer IV are much, much better for sniping work. But I like the 105 because in the right hands, under the right circumstances, ooh, you can have some fun with that. Anyhow, into the corner, just angle up and wait. And remember that I got an ace tanker badge on this. When I make positioning mistakes like that, you begin to wonder why. I mean, look at it. Anyone firing from that bridge, if they take the time to aim, has got a pretty decent shot into my 30-35mm side armour, rather than the 80mm of angled plate at the front. And that's assuming, let's just zoom in for a second, because the Panzer IV has got a design flaw. If you look at the top of the hull, you can see that there's a very slight angled cheek on the side. It's not as bad as, say, I don't know, an IS series, but yeah, it's still a bit of a problem when you're trying to angle up. I'd have been much better, probably, although the nature of the corner makes it awkward, driving straight in, facing the building and just side-scraping, presenting an extreme angle onto the left side armour, and more or less straight 80mm on the front. Offer the enemy enough side armour, and they'll tend to go for it, even with a high angle of attack. However, didn't really matter in this situation because, well, nobody appeared. Settled down for a bit, let the gun stabilise, and turned out to be woefully short of targets. Meanwhile, we've got a couple of heavies coming up. Kubar 10 in his T150, Ugo 85 in his KV2 strong tank, and we have our first contacts. VK2001 gets an early shot in, but it bounces. Somehow he actually did hit the front armour, and then he backs up while the Cromwell and the other guy start swimming around. Pedro Tom unfortunately gets the worst of it, so I come over the bridge trying to flank them up, and then a wild Stuck 3G appears. Fortunately, I got into the turn before he fired, so Trax ate the shot, and then someone else happily does something stupid. We'll focus in on him for a moment. He takes his shot, realises that no, he hasn't killed me, and now he's going to have to take the return fire. So Stakehill, rather obligingly, starts turning. If he'd stopped there and started to reload, I'd have been in trouble. Stug 3G has got 80mm on the front, more or less, although they've got a lot of weird angles on the front of the Stug. And his side armour, 30mm, but that's at a fairly high angle of attack, so his effective is going to be 55, maybe 60mm with that, even assuming it doesn't just bounce, or his tracks don't eat a shot as mine did. Bear in mind, of course, I've got High-X in the breach, so I've got 53mm of penetration. Frontal shot is a no-hoper, side shot is marginal at best. If he stopped there. He kept turning, and gave me a clean shot at the 30mm flank armour. Of course, 53mm of penetration, 410 average damage on a 350 hit point tank destroyer. Thank you very much, says I. First kill. Meanwhile, the Cromwell and the whatever it was have bitten the dust, but there's a Su-100 and a Panzer IV-H over there. Su-100 almost immediately bites the dust. Massive hit from the T-150. And Pavel's coming across in his Sherman 3. So I, again, decide to come round the flank and don't go nearly as far as I should have done. In retrospect, what I should have done here is carried on down this corner, taken the next turning and popped up on Zolly's flank. Again, 30mm side armour, and hey, you know what? Not really enough hit points to take a shot from the High-X in if it penetrates. It's a bit more marginal than the Stug. He's got 440 to work with, average damage 410, so maybe if I'd gotten a high damage roll that would have been a one-shot, but maybe not. And again, I'd have been flank on, but I'd have had the advantage of positioning, because if I'd had the sense to go round and then angle up or side scrape, I'd have had my 80mm front plate towards him. However, if memory serves, I could actually see that ARL 44 Tier 6 Heavy over to the right, and that, well, I didn't really want to stick my head round the corner, even with all the factory buildings in the way. You just know, given my luck, that if I'd done that, he would have stuffed an armour-piercing shell into my right-hand side and said thank you very much himself. So I go round to the left, and watch the derp that follows here. As corner approaches go, this one absolutely blows. If he'd had the gun on this corner, if he'd been a little more awake, that would have been, from his point of view, let's kick round, yeah, instant transmission shot, instant driver shot, potentially an ammo rack if he got lucky. The ammo in the Panzer IV is generally up in the sides of the tank. I'm not sure exactly where Wargaming models it, but I've had enough of these blown up underneath me in War Thunder to have a very intimate idea of where the ammunition is stowed in a Panzer IV. Fortunately, however, he's looking at the Sherman, who is front on to him with that lovely, lovely armoured and angled glacis, so he doesn't notice me, blunder around the corner, and stuff a high explosive straight into his front. 257 damage, didn't penetrate the 80mm armour plate, even though it's more or less straight onto me, but high roll on the damage still does some pretty nasty effects. He's well and truly woken up at this point, so back up, says I. Wait for the reload, because I'm pretty sure he's got the 75mm gun, he has the fire rate advantage, and then, like a numpty, instead of fixing my angle and kicking out onto the side of the street, so I come at him on a 45 to 60 degree angle, and again, get the best angle for the forward armour and the side armour, I just blunder around the corner again. Fortunately, he's still not looking my way. So he gets another shot into the frontal plate, only 140 damage, he's on 10% health, 43, he is a one-shot to the first person who gets around at him, but he's been beating on Pavel pretty hard. That 75mm I think he's using can go through a Sherman pretty easily at this range. He was really going to be relying on deflections against the angled forward plate to save him there. So back up again, think better of it. Now he sees me, but I back up into cover, just about reloaded the gun. Fortunately, he decides to kill Pavel first, and I say fortunate because, hey, look at this. Oh my giddy aunt, how did I get away with a blunder like that? Right round the side, flank armour completely exposed. He, well, I'd like to say it's not the kind of mistake you make twice, not in the same tank at least, but I really should know better by now. Must tighten up my cornering. However, he's shot his load, he's killed Pavel, and that buys me the time to aim up and stuff around into him for the kill. And in fact, he'd given me his side armour as well, not that it really mattered. I could have smacked it into his front plate and the bleed through from the high explosive would have done the job for me. So that's 2 kills down and the southern side pretty much mopped up. So we go hunting again. The ARL 44 is probably wondering where his support has gone, given he's now in a gun duel with two of our heavies, and it's going pretty much how you'd expect under the circumstances. KV2 gets a good shot in, killed most of his health bar, and, well, there are two KV2s in fact, and there's the inevitable when the T150 gets the reload from behind. You all know what Jingles calls that. So it's time to toddle up to the north and see if we can help out our friends who have done such a valiant holding action over in the more open areas. There's a T-34-85, an enemy T-150, a KV-85 up ahead, and I believe they still had their artillery lurking around at the back. Not for much longer, although most of their tanks are tier 5 and 6. We've got the only tier 4 left, our artillery piece, who's got one kill already. So he isn't having too bad a game either, all things considered. And then we get back into the fight with the KV-85 of Barrow 1 over on the far hill. Now, the 105mm, of course, isn't a great gun at anything past dangery close range. Dangery? What the hell's dangery? Dangerously close range. It's 8 all at this point. Fairly even spread of tanks as well. 4 heavies, medium, tank destroyer and artillery each. But I line up, stabilize, and get a track hit at this range. Fair enough, says I. Load on. Get the rounds up. Another high X into him. Another critical hit, but he fixes his tracks and sods off. A third round. More out of optimism than anything else, but while he's running from me, he blunders around the corner and straight into Propeller EDE, who says thank you very much and stuffs a shell into him from the kill. No more Darrow 8-1. Round the corner again, and I catch a Hellcat unawares. Nice flank shot, murder his tracks before he can go anywhere, and then angle up onto his upper hull, reload while his turret comes round, boom. He's on 1% health. His turret's round. I'm in a Panzer IV. That is a Hellcat. At the very least, he's fielding the 76mm gun. If I remember correctly, in World of Tanks, he's potentially fielding the 90mm gun. This is gonna hurt. All I can do is back up a little, angle up, hope for the best, and see who reloads first. And sweet RNG, gods be praised, the tracks eat the shot again with no hit point damage. I've no idea what he was loading. I'd have assumed even the 76 would have penetrated clean in, but yeah, somehow the tracks stop that one, and of course I immediately reload and fire back. 1% hit. Well, even a near miss would have done the job there, but clean hit, clean kill for number 3. Kubar, of course, is chasing a Top Gun at this point. There's 2 enemy tanks left, so let's tighten up. Pliss kill Pliss. I didn't realise what he meant at the time, but yeah, looking at it in the replay, he was chasing his Top Gun. He just needed one more kill. Our tank destroyers down in the enemy base has murdered their artillery and has started the cap, so we really can't lose at this point. And, well, then we pick up the T-34-85 and the BDR. So, tighten up. Who's gonna get the kill? Well, there's not a lot to be said at this point. We're closing in. These guys know they've had it. They're very much in the last stamina. The T-34-85 takes a big hit, but it isn't quite enough to kill him. The BDR's on 31%. As I come around the corner at a shocking angle once again. If that T-34-85 hadn't been looking the other way, let's just go to the reverse camera for a second. Yeah, oh my god. I really, really need to work on my angling, don't I? Oh, wow. Near perfect side armor. That is what? 45mm effective at best if he gets a shot into the upper tree. Granted, the Scherzen is masking it, but that would be more or less a 90-degree shot for 30mm if he hit the turret, hull cheeks. However, he isn't looking my way. The BDR goes, and then I get the last kill of the game. Yeah, Perhaps I should have waited. Perhaps I should have let Kuba get his Top Gun. But hey, I had the shot. He was obligingly looking the other way. It might perhaps have been rude not to make the kill, but that was 15 kills, 4 to me, and a mastery badge for the Panzer IV-H, which, given how shockingly badly I played in that game, you saw all the mistakes of positioning I made, probably says more about the quality of the average Panzer IV driver that week than it does about me. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been Yuzzel. That has been a quick lunchtime tankery, and normal derpitude will doubtless be resumed next time. Until then, farewell.